In the beautiful city of Lagos, Kyekyeku drove through the traffic in the city to work, praying to God his boss had not gotten to work first. The rain fell heavy on his windscreen, blinding him totally. Before he knew it, a woman appeared from nowhere in front of his car, causing him to stop and brake his car. "What is wrong with you?" he shouted through the slightly rolled car window, looking at the beautiful woman as she collapsed in the middle of the road. Kyekyeku yelled in his car, just the day to go bad, he thought. Rushing out of his car, he picked the strange lady from the middle of the busy road and ran into his car. Susie Hospital was a stone throw from his work, Kyekyeku thought. I would just drop her off on my way to work. He stole a glance through the rearview mirror and almost had a heart attack. The strange lady was sat upright, sitting in his car back seat, just staring at him. "I am not going to the hospital, mister. I am fine. If you can do me any favor, it would be giving me a place to stay for a couple of weeks. I have nowhere to go." Kyekyeku stared at her through the mirror and began laughing. "You are joking, right?" he said. "I do not know you, madam." "Well, if you refuse, I would take you to the police station. After all, you hit me with your car." "No, I didn't," Kyekyeku replied. "Tell that to the police." Nkechi crossed her arms across her chest, challenging Kyekyeku. He thought about evading the police totally, so he said, "I have to go to work at the moment. Hang around. After the day, I'll just get you a place." Kyekyeku went to work and went about his daily activities, forgetting every piece of his encounter that morning. After work, he drove home, forgetting completely about the incident that occurred in the morning and everything about Nkechi. After a hot shower and dinner, there was a knock at the door. Who could it be at this time of the night? Kyekyeku thought and furrowed his brows as he went to the door. There, in the same clothes, stood Nkechi. He had totally forgotten about her. "What are you doing here? And how the hell do you know where I live?" Nkechi just stood there at the door, staring at him, and replied, "You didn't look for me when you closed. I watched you get into your car and get home. I followed you in the taxi." "How can I help you?" Kyekyeku said, trying to get rid of her. "You promised me shelter," she said to him. "I will host you for a month. Be sure to move out at the end of the month with no excuses," Kyekyeku said with some finality in his tone. Kyekyeku showed Nkechi to the small room space he used as storage. "You can clean this place up and use it," he said, and left her to retire to his room for the night. A week into Nkechi living with Kyekyeku, they would sit, talk, watch television together, chat, and get to know each other. Nkechi learned more about Kyekyeku than he did of her, his family, hobbies, and favorite things to do. She would cook his favorite meal for him once or twice a week. They began to get close. He thought he wouldn't have found love again, but gradually they found each other. He began liking her smile, her face, and her mannerism. He had fallen for her. One evening, after they had their dinner, Kyekyeku said to Nkechi, "It seems like you never talk about yourself, family members, or even friends." Nkechi stiffened at his question. My parents and my little brother live in the village, and I have no friends. On the day you almost hit me with your car, I was running away from my boyfriend and his friends. Nkechi hesitated but continued. On that day, I heard him and his friends discussing that morning on how to lure me to follow them. That bastard was going to use me for rituals. Hence, I came to your house with no clothes. I told him I was going to buy clothes for a little outing that evening, and that was how I ended up escaping. Kyekyeku sat silently for minutes without word. How can this world be so wicked, he thought. When my 1 month stay is over, I will introduce you to my family before I leave. Nkechi said, but Kyekyeku was still silent with a lot of questions running through his head. Finally, he opened his mouth and asked, what if I was a killer? Nkechi's laughter echoed through the apartment. Killer? Usually, killers don't forget their praise at their workplace, Nkechi said sarcastically, reminding him of how he left her. She continued to taunt Kyekyeku. He stared deep into her eyes as he collected her into his arms and kissed her passionately, whispering, I am falling for you, Nkechi. Your smile, your little smart remarks, and your personality. He captured her lips one time and carried her into her bedroom, where he showed her all his feelings, emotions, and thoughts. Each day, their love for each other grew and affections increased. Kyekyeku, one morning before he went to work, told Nkechi, my last girlfriend broke my heart into pieces. I thought I would never find love. She got pregnant by my best friend, and now they are married. Please don't hurt me. Kissing her passionately one more time, he left for work. Day by day, the month drew near. Nkechi, Kyekyeku said to her, you know you can stay here till you find your own place, right? She smiled at his statement. I know that when my 1 month stay is over, I will take you to see my village people, my parents and my brother, just to see the kind of people that are my family. Kyekyeku agreed. At the speed of light, the end of the month arrived finally. Nkechi and Kyekyeku drove to Amanze. Nkechi silently wept in the car. What is wrong with you, my love? Kyekyeku asked. I am so happy that I met you. You are a very good and generous person who loves from your heart, and I'm very, very glad we are together. God bless you. Kyekyeku was a little confused at her tears and words, but kissed her cheek and continued their journey. As they got to Amanze, Nkechi stopped him and said, oh, I have to say hi to an elderly woman in this house. Just enter into this house, she pointed to her home and told him, tell them you are with me. I will be with you soon. Kyekyeku went into the house and introduced himself to the group of people in the house holding a meeting and said, hi, my name is Kyekyeku from Lagos. I am here with Nkechi. She just went to the next house, saying she has to say hi to an elderly woman in the house. She will be back soon. He saw how everyone's face changed to shock, and an older woman in black fell to the ground crying, mentioning Nkechi's name. An older man asked Kyekyeku, how do we know you are telling the truth, young man? Kyekyeku took out his phone and showed the group of people a picture they took just an hour before they arrived at Amanze. He was in the same clothes and Nkechi with a sad face in the picture. Sit down, my son, and let's wait for her. They sat for hours and minutes, long and long, and every minute felt like centuries. After a long wait of 2 hours and a confused Kyekyeku, the family broke the news to him. My son, Nkechi has been dead for a month now. Her boyfriend and his friends used her for money rituals. Kyekyeku was hearing this for the second time, shook his head in disbelief. They cannot be true. Kyekyeku refused to believe as he lay on the floor in a fetal state, crying. You've been living with a ghost, my son. Kyekyeku cried like a baby. The only woman he had ever wanted and loved was not even human. The ghost of Nkechi stood at the corner of their house, watching her beloved mourn her in tears.